My first artistic success, what would I say?
My name is Basil Twist, and I'm a puppeteer. Symphonie Fantastique, which was my underwater, abstract, strange puppet show.
Hamlet was turning point. Hamlet was when I personally, as a director, gained confidence that that was something that I can push forward to succeed.
As a professional working artist, I don't think there's, for me, I haven't experienced it as like one moment where I've made it. There were all these moments leading up where I thought I had made it, and I thought, you know, like I performed once, I was invited to write an original poem paying tribute to Maya Angelou and perform it on stage with her, and I thought, oh, I have made it. And I did that, and then nothing happened afterward. It was like, okay, you know, fly back home. And I thought, huh, okay. So I have to, you know, you have to keep making it each day. You get a good gig, you get some good exposure, you stand next to one of your idols, and then the next day nothing happens. So you go back to work.
Hamlet was basically for us big success because of it was first our ambition create something without words and Shakespeare without words, and in this case it was a huge risk. Because
look, imagine, I mean, it's so hard to be an artist, not just only this country, but anywhere you go. It's not that simple to survive as an artist, especially here when we moved in America. So many different shiny colors, so many different bright lights around. And how are we gonna find your light that is different from other lights, right? So that was our dilemma in the beginning. Almost, you know, I always say culture shock. You know, what I'm gonna do now? How I'm gonna do it? So, but the Hamlet was that light. That shiny light which had own color that people like noticed right away.
I think probably the most exciting thing I've had happen in my career was to be included in an exhibition at the Martha Herford Museum in Herford, Germany. I was lucky enough to travel to see the exhibition opening, and from a personal perspective, because I grew up loving Magritte, the fact that my video was in the same room as one of his artworks and artworks by Jake and Dinos Chapman and a bunch of other artists that I grew up admiring and still do to this day, that was pretty special.
And the show was a triumph, and the next day I was reviewed in all the papers, and there was something actually bigger that happened than being just part of the puppetry world. I actually joined the art world, and I had just been focused on the puppet world, and I actually, out of that day in May of 1998, suddenly I realized I was on a different path, that I was a puppeteer, but I was an artist in a larger world that spoke to music and dance and theater and visual arts, and that people were really responding to that.
You know, it's a very funny moment for me because I feel like it's not about success or failure in the arts, it's much more about creating new ideas. And I think the first time I realized my ideas were going out into the system of culture was when I started getting so much email from Japan, or being invited to DJ in like Finland, or, you know, my website. Actually, that's a good way to put it. I think my website was my first feeling of success because it was getting a lot of traffic and people were chipping in and just inviting me to come all over the world to DJ and hear my music, but they also were very interested in my art. So that was in ancient mid-90s, like 96, 97.
Last year I was asked to do a show at the American University Museum. When I was approached by a curator, I realized that maybe I had made it. It's like, I have to do this. This is my moment to shine. I mean, I'm showing at the museum for a short term, but it's still a museum. I wanted to do it. I went back home that night and I had a hard time sleeping. I was writing down, you know, ideas and sketching out, you know, what I wanted to do and how I wanted to, you know, execute this. It was pretty awesome. and to see people coming to the opening, and the opening ceremony actually took place right behind my piece. So I couldn't have asked for anything more. I mean, it definitely hit the spot, and to this day, I still talk about that moment.